How can you make athletic gains forever? Why do most of us get slower and weaker and less explosive with age? And how can we combat these regressions to stay as athletic as possible for as long as possible? Today we'll answer all these questions. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And if you enjoy content like this, then please consider joining as a channel member for more of it along with free programs. I hope you enjoy the video.
As I've gotten older and moved past full physical maturation, through the athletic physical peak, and into what most people would consider over-the-hill territory, I've come to view this period of time as a phase of secondary athletic development of sorts, an athleticism enhancement renaissance, if you will. Now, it's readily apparent that the bulk of athletic prowess is built during the formative years, through early childhood and adolescence and into puberty as physical maturation starts to take place. Coordination is gained and improved upon, basic motor pattern foundations are laid down and gradually honed and polished. Movement capacity is built and enhanced. And then into the early 20s and mid-20s, as full physical maturation is completed, the size of the engine and its horsepower are souped up to allow for greater capacity and performance. By the time the late 20s roll around, an athlete has been given the time and opportunity to train hard enough and intensely enough at that souped up level of peak capacity to hopefully maximize their athletic potential. Then we hit 30 plus and everything goes downhill. Or does it? I don't think it has to. In fact, at age 35, I currently find myself in what I would describe as an athleticism renaissance. I'm still building, I'm still enhancing, and I'm still improving, even though my peak should have come and gone at this point. I should be over the hill, but I'm still improving. I'm just doing things a little bit differently these days than when I was younger. And that is really the operative difference here. I have hit my lifetime best vertical jump and sprints both north of the age of 30. Those may be the purest markers of raw athleticism in existence. And I've managed to improve upon both substantially more past age 30 than I was ever able to in my 20s, thanks in large part to an increase in training knowledge and the application of it. Recently, I've also hit various other forms of sprinting and jumping PRs across different variations. I've improved my overall mobility levels quite substantially, and I've continued to build raw strength and power in the process of all of this as well. So what have I changed now compared to my 20s that has allowed me to continue to progress in these realms so far into my mid-30s now? Primarily, it's training volume and training emphasis. When I was a bit younger, there was more heavy strength work in the program, just in general, as well as a greater volume of hard weight room work for the lower body overall. Now that I've gotten a little bit older, I'm still lifting heavy, I'm still grinding, I'm still killing it. You guys see that on my channel. But the total volume of work in that regard is much lower than it used to be. I don't want or need to lift thousands of pounds a week at this point in order to make strength progress. I've already crossed that bridge. I have built my base over the course of many years of very hard work, and as such, that base is incredibly resilient. This is where the idea of dad strength comes from, right? You've just been around for so long and accumulated so many adaptations that you have built a lot of strength that just kind of sticks around. So I can maintain my current strength levels with an incredibly minimal amount of total heavy work. And I take advantage of that by lessening the total workload of hard and heavy weight room work. By doing so, not only do my body and my joints feel fresher overall, but this also frees up time for me to do more of other things. In this case, more running and jumping and other explosive activities. And rather than wear me down the way that heavy weights have a tendency to do, this style of explosive work actually charges me back up. It's still hard and it's still intense, don't get me wrong, but it leaves me feeling sharper and more refreshed overall rather than beat up. As well, with that reduced training workload in the weight room, I have also freed up more time and training energy for things that I call longevity drills. So now we're talking about the work that I do to isolate the functions of the hips, things like various forms of hip flexor work, Copenhagen, adductions, abduction side planks, things that work the functions of the hip in relative isolation. Beyond that, I've also incorporated other high intensity planking drills and core exercises to really place a premium on the core muscles. I've started doing a lot of joint centric work as well. So now we're talking about things like sissy squats, specifically for the knees, tib raises for the ankles, high rep leg curls for the knees, as well as a few other things, and also large range of motion unilateral work for the hips, where the primary focus is on movement quality and range of motion as opposed to loading. And all of these things are longevity inspired movements based on the idea of keeping my body feeling good by directly targeting my personal weak links and making them less problematic in the process. So my general trajectory of athletic development over the course of my lifetime has gone roughly like this. Age 5 or whatever point I started to roughly age 18 was mostly spent building and honing foundational movement patterns and sporting skills. At first, just learning how to use your body, gaining coordination, learning how to run and jump and cut, all that good stuff. Age 19 to 30 was mostly spent building up the size of the engine and increasing its horsepower for a greater potential peak. And we did that with a lot of the hard and heavy weight room work for the lower body, heavy squats, heavy pulls, heavy Olympic lifts, things of that nature. And then age 30 to 35 has been spent maintaining those horsepower gains in the weight room, but also while shoring up weak links and placing a premium on being smarter with my gym work and recovering better as well. While also taking care to simply move around more, sit less, stand more, do more walking, do more stretching, do more running, do more jumping. Things that keep my body feeling loose and limber and sharp and fresh as opposed to tight and stiff, which is something that starts to become more and more problematic as we age, especially if you are sitting on your ass too much. Obviously, I can't continue making athletic gains forever. Eventually, Father Time will catch up to me as he does all of us, but either way, the landscape is changing, and it would be foolish not to recognize this. But guys like Tom Brady, Justin Gatlin, LeBron James, the big three in tennis, Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, have all shown us that when you prioritize your training demands appropriately for your age and you place a premium on intelligent recovery, that you can maintain even elite level performance for a very long time, well into your 30s, perhaps even into your 40s. And that is at a level of performance where millions of dollars and GOAT status are on the line. But if you're just talking about being reasonably athletic, I see no reason why you can't maintain that into your 50s and perhaps even your 60s as well. Really, the point is, by being smart and adapting your methods accordingly as you get older, there's absolutely no reason why anything has to start going downhill just because you have crossed some arbitrary age threshold. Obviously, things are going to change, but you can adapt to those changes and continue to make progress in spite of them. You don't have to become a washed up meathead who yammers on incessantly, well, back in my day, I could blah, 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 to anybody who will fucking listen. Personally, my goal is to be as athletic as possible for as long as possible. That is what I'm showcasing on my channel, and I think I'm on the right track. So if you aren't ready to throw in the towel to Father Time just yet, join me in the Renaissance.